Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the FTUK weekly catch-up live stream. Good morning to you if you're just waking up and joining us. We're slightly earlier today, and I hope you've had a good trading week. It's very summery here, and hopefully the sun is shining on your trading account wherever you are. We are not going to stream for as long as we did last week. We went on a bit of a marathon session, but nevertheless, the stuff we've got to talk about this week is just as important, and it's quite a sad start to the stream this week because we're going to talk about another prop firm that has gone to the wall. Very sad to see that. I've talked about the what's happening around the space of the prop industry quite a number of times, and we need to do that again today. I want to profile our new one-step program, which is coming in August, where everything is changing at FTUK in the month of August, and then finally I'm going to show you how we can pre-order those accounts if you want to get early bird access and get a few free things thrown in there before we start trading in August. So there's not as much to actually go through today, but nevertheless it is massively important. Don't forget as well, of course, if you are not a member of our Discord, I can't do the stream without mentioning all the guys that work so hard on Discord. It's really good to see everybody that's on there, and yeah, please do scan that QR code, head over to Discord, join in. You'll see that's where all the key information is always presented on Discord first, so it's definitely worth being part of the community, and just to make sure that you are on top of everything that is going on. Any changes, any tech problems that are currently going on, usually the message gets out on there first, so please do head on over and get subscribed to the Discord. Okay, right, so let's start by talking about something that happened this week. The Funded Engineer, they have closed their doors, which is very, very sad to see. This is the kind of thing that we're unfortunately seem to be getting used to in the prop space. Messages like this, people trying to log into their accounts on a Monday, and they get confronted with a message that says something like this: "Dear valued clients, it's with deep regret and a heavy heart that we announce the permanent closure." These are the kinds of phrases we are used to. We have been unable to overcome the challenges we faced, necessitating the cessation of all operations effective immediately. Unfortunately, these efforts have not yielded the necessary results to ensure the continuation of our business, etc. It goes on. That's the most gut-wrenching feeling if you're a client and you log in, you go onto these websites and you see that all of a sudden everything has changed overnight and the business has decided to close. It's not good. It is not good, and it's very sad. It is very sad, and it's not something that is good for the prop industry as a whole, and it's not good for clients. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the reasons that are surrounding this, really just for context, because the big thing that gets undermined in all of this is always the trust that people have in the system, and that can become a bit of a negative feedback loop, and it's something that at FTUK we are very conscious of, and we are making very deliberate steps with our communications and our live streams and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that we sort of get the message out there that there's a lot of good stuff going on within the prop industry, and we want to make sure that continues. If you look at this, I put a few bits of information together around this. There's a number of key components which I think are worth talking about. The first up is the changes in technology. There's no question that MetaTrader leaving the industry in the way that they did so suddenly has had a massive impact on the traders and on a lot of the firms from a cost point of view, and then also from a value proposition of the types of technology that they were allowing traders to interface with the market. There's no question that MetaTrader is an amazing platform. I've been using it. It's the leading retail trading platform. People use it obviously for the functionality and for execution, but also for all the programming, the EAs, the robots, the algorithms, all of that stuff just disappeared overnight. I mean, that undermines pretty much everybody's business, so it's not that easy to recover from that, particularly as a company if you've then got to go and start doing deals with a lot of the other tech providers. Also bear in mind as well that a lot of the tech providers that supply these trading platforms, they are not necessarily geared and set up initially for the prop industry. They're more focused on brokerages, and brokerages have, from a technology point of view, have a much more simple pipeline, a much more simple connective process that they need to execute orders and put funds and across accounts and allow traders to connect with the market. As soon as you start talking about prop, you are talking about extra rules. You're talking about parameters around a trading account with lots of different conditions, which can vary as well. Some of the tech providers are still lagging behind on that. Now, we're working with some of the best guys, Match Trade, C Trader, and also DX Trade at the moment. Those are the guys from the tech point of view that seem to be really pushing that prop model as well. So there's clearly some work still to do in that area, but there's no question that the technology morphing and changing like that has had a really bad effect on the industry as a whole, which obviously spills over into some of these companies going under. Also as well, we had this particular problem, and I'm sure a lot of other prop companies had the same problem, and that is a higher risk profile created on the business from your traditional payment processing systems or your payment providers, PayPal, all the different, MasterCard, Visa, all of those guys that sort of do traditional payment systems the world over for every type of transaction that you can ever imagine. They started to see this industry with a lot of the shakeups and the bankruptcies as being very high risk, and I understand where that comes from. So that in itself creates a problem, and we had that problem here at FTUK. We've managed to navigate it properly, and that's involved the team really getting across the process of how you implement these fast changes in payment providers so that you provide a seamless service, because there's nothing worse. If you're selling anything online and the payment processing doesn't work, people don't tend to come back, so that has had a massive effect as well. We've also had a certain amount of fallout, I think, over the last couple of years from the various things that have happened in the crypto industry as well. I think that's a thing with the FTX scandal and a lot of these bigger sort of entities in the crypto space, because a lot of these markets, from a modern point of view, they cross over, they connect with each other, and that is it has an effect on the sentiment of the people that are surrounding the industry. So that has some sort of a component to play as well. There's also, as well as an industry, the prop model. It's become very popular as well for traders and also for people that are setting up their own businesses in this industry, and that means there's some of these people that are setting up in the industry. Some are more qualified than others. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just, as a level of experience of setting up a business and running a business, it's created a lot of extra competition within the industry. There are an awful lot of prop firms now, where even a few years ago there weren't as many, so that has had an impact. So the actual market share that a lot of the companies can get has been sort of morphed around as well, and fighting for customers has been a lot more difficult as well. That can have an impact on some of these business. And then also as well, all of this then leads into undermining the trust that customers have in the industry and leads to bad reviews. There's no shortage of those. If you're looking at any of these companies that have unfortunately closed their doors, they all have people then worried, looking at the website, going on to Trustpilot. It's not good. It undermines the trust that people have in the industry. So I honestly, genuinely think that it's a question from here of very, very slowly putting some integrity back in the system, building some value, and then moving on from there. Now, that leads me on to a couple of questions, really. Where is the value? Where is the value of the prop model? How does it survive from here? How does it move forward from here? Well, it does. All of these industries, they all sort of go through phases. And it's the same with the crypto industry. And I don't actually think that the industry for prop is any different at all. So where would the value is? Well, it's very, very simple. The value in prop is your cost of entry. It provides a very, very low access point, an access point that makes this very democratic, because it's not elitist. It makes trading markets, getting involved in markets, accessible to anyone on any budget. The old traditional way of doing that, of putting money into a brokerage account, I don't know. I think it has some limitations in the sense that, not everybody has the kind of funds that you need to do that, particularly if you don't know what you're doing and you're just starting from scratch. It is a risky industry. Trading is a difficult industry to make headway in, but it doesn't necessarily mean to say that if you don't have the kind of capital as someone who's got an awful lot of savings behind them, why should you be limited? Why are you excluded? I don't agree with that. So there is a place for prop in this industry, and that is where one of the core bits of value is. It also therefore acts as a much softer on-ramp into the market. It makes it easier for people to get involved at a lower cost point, and therefore, obviously, as a result of that, it starts to reduce the risk risk down. That is a massive, massive component. So instead of you having to fund your retail brokerage account with 3, 4, 5 grand, a grand, whatever it is that you want to get involved in the industry, that you've maybe worked hard to save up, and then you don't quite understand what you're doing with the leverage, and all of a sudden you blow up. I mean, it's hard to keep coming back to the table. So there is a very, very valid argument that the value that is created by prop is there, and I absolutely genuinely believe that it is. So what is the place for prop at its current stage within the whole retail sector space? That's a very interesting question, and I actually think it's a question of looking at it in terms of a sandwich. You can either, if you don't have the funds, you can sit in a demo platform with nothing at stake, no skin in the game, and you can just sort of play around the platform, and it feels a bit like a video game. And I don't know, but you're never going to get anywhere because, paper money, paper demo accounts, because all brokerages will give you a demo account, you don't get paid. It's as simple as that. So your only alternative traditionally was to spend a period of time, like I did, where you do demo trading for 6 months, a year, something like that, until you've maybe doubled your account, tripled your account, and then at that point there, that is when you then say, okay, well, I will now fund my own retail brokerage account. But you've never actually traded live real with your own real money like that. And what it can do, it can really shift your psychology, and that's usually where most people will blow up. Now, unless you've got the funds to come back to the table relatively quickly, I mean, it's very difficult. So there is an argument for saying then that space in the middle, that is where the prop industry sits, because it reduces the risk, it lowers the cost, and you're not putting all of your funds at risk. So in a short answer to whether this as an industry has some substance to it and has a reason to be here, absolutely. It has an absolutely vital role to play within the whole financial services sector for this particular industry. And it wasn't as accessible when I started trading in 2007, 2008, but it is here now. And thank goodness it is, because it allows you to get involved. So it's a really interesting argument, and it's sad to see that some of these businesses are not surviving. Now, what is FTUK's position on all of this? Well, actually, FTUK is in a really, really good spot. And the reason is because we've actually invested an awful lot of money in the company at the beginning of the year. Around about March, there's been a lot of resources been put into FTUK. We are in the position where we've now we've weathered the storm from MetaQuote's leaving, and we've expanded our range of platforms. There's more down the pipeline that are going to get onboarded in the next few months. We are rebuilding our website at the moment, and we've rebuilt our client dashboard as well. That's all been changed. We've bolstered our customer support services, because that is what we recognize as being the most important area for trust, basically, within the entire industry. You have to have a good customer service department, because if stuff's going wrong, you need some help. You need to know that when you're getting in contact with a company, that someone's going to get back to you. That is something we put a lot of work into actually improving. We're also then moving forward from here. We're obviously relaunching our new accounts, which we're going to talk about the one step in a little while. But we're going to build an educational component of FTUK moving into Christmas, and that's going to be either video courses explaining the prop model, video courses explaining how some of the functionality in markets works. There's an awful lot that we can do in that area to help support people, because as a prop company, we have to cater for everyone. We have to look at people that have got experience, that know what they're doing, but we also have to cater to people that are wanting to get involved for the first time. Maybe people that are just curious and want to have a go. We have to have something for everyone, and therefore I think there's some scope within the prop industry to sort of maybe bolster that education for sure. We want to create a elite trader group. We've started to try and do that this week. We have some guys that are in those level 3s, those bigger levels, and they're really good. They're really good. I talked to a guy yesterday, done an amazing job as a trader, and what we want to do is create an elite group within FTUK of guys that are kind of like, sort of ambassadors for the company as well. So if you fancy getting involved in that level, all you need to do is join the company and then, prove yourself as a trader. You work for the company then, and then we have this elite group of traders which acts as a good ambassador for everyone. And again, what is that doing? It's creating integrity and trust in the industry, because that's what it's all about. We're going to do launch into new markets and asset classes. There's talk of maybe offering futures at some point down the line as well. That is something that I'm a massive fan of as well. I think that would be good if we could do that. And we're going to then create a whole sort of like system, and this is early days, a whole system of competitions and leaderboards and other stuff that connects the community together. And what that's really doing is it's creating better communication, open, clear, transparent products. I'm a big fan of being open and honest about how things are working and where stuff is working and not working and stuff, and then also making things a lot more trustworthy. I think it's a massively important aspect of it. Now, what I actually asked the guys in the tech department this morning if we could draw up a list of all of the different firms that have gone to the wall, and I think we've managed to nail it. And this is quite jaw-dropping, actually. Let me just see if I can get this up so you can see it. This here is a list. Since 2015, we estimate that there's 56 different prop firms that have gone to the wall, that have closed their doors. So that shows you how, as an industry, how since the advent of online technology and trading online and getting people involved in evaluations and creating those programs, how much has actually changed. That's a lot of different firms that have tried to come into this industry and then have had to close their doors. I mean, the big guys there from last year, My Forex Funds, they're on there, and then the Funded Engineer, they have joined that group in the last week or so. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Now, it's a question of where things go from here. We've survived. We've managed to weather a lot of the storm, and we are building forward into the future. And that is something that I think is incredibly strong. It's a reason why FTUK is still here. So, yes, we're really grateful for everyone that has stayed with the company. And for sure, there's no question that moving forward, we will be opening our doors, being better at what we do, creating new stuff, creating value for all the traders. It's super important. Okay, right. So let's move on. I want to talk about our new accounts that we've got coming out. Everything is changing at FTUK in August. We are bringing a new website to the table and a whole new array of accounts. We are introducing a new two-step program. We talked about that in last week's live stream. I think it's going to be good. We are going to profile one of the new accounts today, and we're going to talk about the one-step program that we've got. If you look at this here, I've fleshed out all of the details so that everybody can see exactly what the changes are going to be for the one step. We have a one step at the moment, but when you introduce a two step, you need to really bring them together as a group and say, okay, you've got a choice of one step and you've also got a choice of two step. If you look at this here, you'll see some of the key parameters on there. There's some subtle changes, and as time progresses, this will all become clear. But we've increased the minimum trading days. That's different from the two step. I think the two step is the minimum of 3 trading days. That's going to increase on the one step to a minimum of 4 trading days. Again, there's no time limit. We don't believe in having putting pressure on people in that way. There's no time limit on any of our accounts, whether they are instant funded or two-step. That's going to stay the same. We are going to have a trailing drawdown on the one step rather than a static drawdown. So that is more of a risk management point of view. And the reason why we are doing that, and then also introducing a daily drawdown, which is a hard breach at 5%. The reason we are doing that is because from this point onwards in August, stop losses are not going to be mandatory on the one step and the two step. We are changing that, and which is a big change. And that really what that does is the daily drawdown then allows us to manage risk from another direction. So basically, a lot of traders are giving us the feedback that adding the stop loss is popular, not trading with a stop loss. Okay, that's fine, but then we need to somehow sort of nurture people and manage the risk from another direction, and that is the solution for that. Profit split as well, that's going to be up to 80%, but that's all going to scale. Same with the leverage as well. We are moving to a dynamic form of leverage and profit split, and I want to explain why that is and how that comes. That's come about. News trading that is now no longer going to be allowed, but you can purchase it in your evaluation as an add-on if you want, but it's not going to be allowed from a funded point of view. Really, just because it promotes too much gambling. To sort of without beating about the bush, that's really the problem with it. So if you look at the way that the account actually scales, what you can see, we start the 10k account, we change the sizes as well, 10k, 25, 50, and then also 100k, and you'll see that the profit share and the leverage is dynamic. So what that means is it means you start with leverage of 10 to 1, and then you then move up to 50 to 1 when you're then progressing up through the different levels. Same with the profit share. We're starting with the 50% profit share once you're funded, and then that scales up to 80% as we move up the ranks. Now, Now, why is that? Some people say that's limiting traders' ability. Well, what we've learned a lot, particularly this year, is that to get the consistent guys, particularly with creating an elite traders group, what we need to do is we need to sort of hold people in the system for longer. So rather than give people the tools to blow up sort of like very quickly right at the start, by creating a dynamic ramping effect from leverage and a profit share point of view, number one, you're incentivizing people to stay here to make more money, but number two, you're giving them a softer journey as they start to progress up the levels. And what that means is it means we can keep people in the system longer. And if you can keep people in the system trading longer, on average, people will generally be more successful and will get more guys that are working for the company than, and they act as an asset for the company rather than a liability. So that's the reason. So this is a good look at the actual one-step program. It is going to be an interesting way of working. I think if you look at the add-ons as well, what we're doing here is we change the way that the add-ons are going to work. We're not going up to level 8. We're only going up to level 7, and that is going to be purchasable as an add-on if you want to activate that. We're also moving to bi-weekly payouts. So it's a payout every 2 weeks. But if you do want to withdraw your money every week, then you can do that. You can purchase that as an add-on. And then also as well, if you are interested in trading the news, particularly during the evaluation, you can purchase that as well. And this all starts from $179. So I think, fingers crossed, the pricing is particularly competitive. So that's $179 for your evaluation account. Okay, so from there, you might want to pre-order. So we've got the website in development now. We're hoping to get everything ready for the beginning of August. All of the campaigns, the marketing campaign is rolling out over the next few days. But if you are interested in getting involved earlier, you can't trade the accounts, but you can purchase them and get a free add-on thrown in there as a result of doing that. And all you need to do is speak to one of our customer support agents on our chatbot thing on the website. Or alternatively, what you can do is go to the website and you need to go to the pre-order bit of the URL code. So that's www.ftuk.com/pre-order, and you'll come across this page here, and everything is explained on there. And then right at the bottom, you can select your options, what it is you want, and you actually pre-order it. Just bear in mind, though, I cannot emphasize this enough, you can't trade the account straight away because we're not launched yet. This is just a kind of just to give people a reason to sort of get quick access, so you're first in the queue when we've got everything launched in August. So yeah, fingers crossed it's going to be good. Okay, right, that's it. That's brilliant. That's everything we've got for today. So, yes, very sad to see another prop firm go to the wall. It's definitely not something that we want to see on an ongoing basis. Everything at FTUK is very much focused on building into the future. So there is no question FTUK is here and is here to stay. That is an absolute certainty. Okay, that's brilliant. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much for your company today, and we will catch you all again very, very soon.